Splatoon 4 has to deliver. If it feels like 3.5 again, people won't just be disappointed. They'll be done. Now that we've got the Switch 2, this is Splatoon's shot to finally break into the big leagues. But only if Nintendo get a few things right first, starting with the name. It's gotta be Splatoon 4. Not Splatoon 3 Deluxe, not Splatoon 3 Switch 2 Edition. If we're gonna be paying money, it's gotta be a brand new game, and here's why. For a game like Splatoon, you would have to tread very carefully on what you actually added to a Switch 2 Edition. Better FPS, faster load times, new modes or specials locked behind better hardware? Yeah, no, that's just getting a little too close to pay-to-play territory for me. I can see the argument for doing what they did with Kirby and adding a second story mode or something like that, but even that's got its problems. We've already paid for Side Order and the expansion pass. Any new content for Splatoon 3 should arguably be included in that, and not locked to a completely separate console through a Switch 2 edition. But in all honesty, that's not even the main reason I don't want a Switch 2 edition. You see, and I'm so sorry, but some of you are not gonna like this, but every time I see someone pitch Splatoon 3 Deluxe or Splatoon 3 Switch 2 edition, it gives short-sighted, you know? And I know the main reason is, oh, I don't want Splatoon 4 to be rushed, blah blah blah, and I'll get to that in just a sec. But here's the truth. Splatoon needs growth, okay? We've stagnated, and the Switch 2, that is the best opportunity we've got to do that. But the thing is, if we pull up to the Switch 2 with a deluxe edition of a game that's already been out for a number of years, baby, we are dead on arrival. And yeah, I know there are Switch 2 editions going on of games that are way older than Splatoon, but here's the thing. In Splatoon's case, I don't think a deluxe edition benefits the growth of the game. You see, Splatoon is in a very interesting spot where plenty of people know of the game, like plenty of people have heard of it, but getting people to actually play the game, completely different story. If we're talking about getting people to play the game, Splatoon absolutely 100% still needs to show up and show out, especially if it's trying to grab more of the people from those other shooter games. Ultimately, my fear is that a deluxe edition just won't be enticing enough to anyone that doesn't already play Splatoon. The future of Splatoon and the growth of this game relies heavily on both keeping its already existing player base happy, but also bringing new people in. And for the most part, these two kind of overlap from a gameplay perspective, but marketing wise, completely different story, right? Marketing wise, Splatoon has to work a lot harder to sell itself to that second group, and the best shot you've got to do that is to come with an entirely new game. I mean, if you want proof of this, Splatoon 3 already had to fight the Splatoon 2.5 allegations, and that was a whole new game. If they were doing all that for an actual new game, how do you think people are going to react if we rock up to the Switch 2 unironically trying to sell people on what would legitimately be Splatoon 3.5? Now, coming back to the whole, I want Splatoon 3 Deluxe so Splatoon 4 isn't rushed thing, I genuinely don't think we've got anything to worry about in that department. The team behind Splatoon also work on Animal Crossing, and I'm absolutely certain that they're going to put out something for Animal Crossing on the Switch 2 long before they do for Splatoon. Plus, I did also see an article that suggests it's the Splatoon team who are also behind that whole mysterious Nintendo playtest game we saw way back when. I don't know when it was, I didn't get in. But anyway, if that is the case, they are booked and busy right now. So no, I don't think Splatoon 4 is coming this year. I don't even think Splatoon 4 is coming next year. And honestly, that's fine. What's not fine though, is if when we do finally get Splatoon 4, they've done nothing to fix the online services, because Nintendo, you cannot keep getting away with this. Anyone who's around for Splatoon 3 at launch will know that the online was shaky at best, and trust me on this one, that is me being polite. Like, the number of times I saw that communication error screen, my god, it felt like it was trying to become a core game mechanic or something. I was seeing it that frequently. It was genuinely ridiculous. But look, I'll give credit where credit's due. It's better now. Still not great, still not something you call stable with a straight face, but definitely better. But here's the problem, because those first few months where the online service had legitimately just lost its mind were when it mattered the most. Because that was the moment all eyes were on Splatoon 3, new players were curious, hype was high, the spotlight was on. And then they all got booted from 3 matches in a row, said, yeah, nah, I'm out, and never touched the game again. I saw so many people drop the game. Not because they didn't like it, lots of them did, but because they literally couldn't play it. And I think the real problem, and obviously this isn't just for Splatoon, but we're paying for it. Nintendo Online is a paid service. Like, you want to charge people, cool, fine, whatever. But it actually needs to work. If the online still feels like it's running on Internet Explorer in big 2025, do me a favour, Nintendo, just make it free. Oh, and while we're on the topic, if you too have fallen victim to Nintendo's potato-powered online services, hit subscribe! Alright, let's talk about maps, because that first year for Splatoon 3, it wasn't great, was it? Like, we literally birthed a whole Tetris block meme out of the fact so many of these stages were just boring and kinda blocky. It wasn't until the 1 year anniversary, literally an entire year into the game's life, that we finally got something we could look out without hearing in Crabbler Capital and Ship-Shaped Cargo Co. From there, I would honestly say the stages did get better. Not perfect, but better, at least more creative. I do have to ask though, where was this energy earlier? Like, why did it take a whole year just to get those creative juices flowing and come up with stage ideas that weren't just, they don't like this stage, what do we do about it? I don't know, let's just whack a pole in the middle. Now for Splatoon 4, I want to see more of that fun stuff from the story modes in the multiplayer maps. I'm talking dash pads, grind rails, switches, bounce pads, the lot. Because tell me why we're leaving all the cool stuff locked away in the single player mode. Like, most of us will play that stuff once and then we're done with it. Oh, and while we're on the case, Nintendo please, more flank routes. More inkable walls. Why are half the walls in this game made of Teflon like it's a non-stick pan? How are you going to introduce the squid search mechanic and then present us with a bunch of maps where you physically cannot climb anything to use it? And here's the thing that gets me, right? The whole theme of Splatoon 3 was supposed to be chaos. So I wanted chaos. I wanted stages that pushed how crazy this game's movement and mechanics can be, because that's what makes Splatoon so special. So I can't lie, it was a little disappointing that we instead got maps that basically kind of played it safe. So in Splatoon 4, I want them to go nuts. Go crazy. Embrace the fact that this isn't your average shooter. Splatoon's entire identity is built on movement. You swim, you climb, you ink, you maneuver. The stages need to reflect that, you know? We need to talk about the big one, and by the big one I mean weapon kits, because if you look up missed opportunity in a dictionary, a picture of Splatoon 3 will be sitting right there. How are you going to build an entire game around the number 3? We got 3 idols, 3 teams in Splatfests, Tricolor Turf War, triple 3 battles, and have 2 kits for each weapon. And it gets worse when you realise that Splatoon 3 literally has more specials than Splatoon 1 and 2 combined. One thing though, I am recording this in May, which if you aren't aware, Splatoon is due to turn 10 at the end of this month. So you know, there is a chance this segment ages horribly and Nintendo drops third kits in the next couple weeks. Please Nintendo, I've never wanted in my life to be wrong more than this. Please let it age horribly. But if not, which is likely, I've made my peace with not getting third kits a while ago. And it got me thinking about an idea that's been floated about for a while. Custom kits. Because imagine this, instead of waiting years for a new kit to come out and hope that it matches your playstyle, what if we got to choose? Now I'm not talking like a total free-for-all, but maybe like 3 subs, 3 specials. It would be enough to offer us variety and give us choice, but would still allow Nintendo to do balance patches and stuff like that. But I don't know, because even custom kits, as great as they sound, have problems. My real concern is that if every weapon has a bunch of selectable kit options from day one, Nintendo might feel less pressure to add new weapons over time, and that could make one of the already most complained about aspects of Splatoon 3 worse in Splatoon 4. I'm talking about the content cycle. I swear, you never knew how long 3 months could be until Splatoon 3 turned up with that content schedule. And don't get me wrong, like, I get the reasoning. I know Nintendo didn't want to overwork the devs, which is great, love that, but my god were we feeling it by the end of each season. I've said this before and I'm gonna say it again. Boredom brings out the worst in this community. Almost every time I had to whip out the 0 days without nonsense meme, it was the last month of the season. Every time that last month of the season would roll around and there we have it. Like clockwork, the community is in the trenches because everyone's going to war with each other. But this isn't even about us, because when we did get new content, the weapon rollout in particular was just kinda weird. Like, how were they deciding what kits to put out? Because why did we end up with new weapons like the Big Squid getting new kits before day 1 mains? And yes, I am looking at you, Gold Dynamo Roller, which was in the promo for like a year before it actually showed up. It got to a point where I was genuinely starting to believe that weapon was just a figment of our collective imaginations. It took so long to get added to the game. And here's the thing about the content schedule, right? I'm gonna once again bring you back to launch. I remember Splatoon 3 at launch. It had like mainstream hype. Like, I'm talking real hype. You know, going into launch, Splatoon 3 had this huge momentum, but the long wait between updates killed it and put it 6 feet underground. So how do I want them to do it in Splatoon 4? Well, actually in my mind, it's a simple fix. You keep the 3-month seasons. I know, hold fire for a second, just hear me out. You see, what I think is like a reasonable and like manageable solution is you keep the 3-month seasons. They can stay. What I'd like to see is, you know, that mid-season patch? Utilize it. Right now, it's just bug fixes and some balancing stuff, which, you know, is great and all. We need that, but throw us a bone. Drop a couple new weapon kits, maybe a fresh batch of clothes, some new locker decorations, maybe even something like new hairstyles or locker colours. Purple. I'm not talking loads, you know, it doesn't have to be lots. It doesn't have to be like a whole new season's worth of stuff. Just a couple things each time, just so that gap doesn't feel quite as long. Okay, we need to talk about the matchmaking, because this one, she's got layers.
Layers!
From a skill perspective, personally, I don't mind getting matched up with players who are way higher level than I am. Like the other day, I was just vibing in turf war, chilling as I often do. Next thing I know, I look up at my screen and there are 2 top 10s and a top 500 waiting for me on the other team. And look, I'm not gonna lie, I got cooked. They served us up on a platter. But I don't really mind that. Whenever I have to play against someone who is definitely a better player than me, my thought process is just, right, well, this is gonna be kind of tricky, but you know what? I welcome the challenge. But that's me. And I appreciate that's definitely not everyone. If you're new to the game, or even if you're not and you just really want to actually chill and not be put in any type of stress, that's not a situation you want to find yourself in. But right now you absolutely could, and that's the problem. Turf War and Open don't have skill-based matchmaking, so you can in theory get these wild chaotic lobbies where someone who's just picked up the game can effectively get dropped right into a shark tank. But at the same time, if you try to balance those modes too hard, you end up messing with like the ability to play with friends at different levels, or just create a ridiculously long queue time. Matchmaking, it's a tough one. Like, I genuinely don't have a real answer for what we do here. So if you've got an idea, please drop it in the comments because I want to hear it. Right, now this one, I'm not gonna stop screaming it from the rooftops until they finally do it. Splatoon needs better communication options. I know game chat is gonna now be a thing, and that's great if you're playing with friends, but if you're playing solo, good luck. You've got 2 buttons and neither will actually say what you wanted to in that moment. And look, I'm not asking for full voice comms with randoms. That's a moderation nightmare waiting to happen. But do Nintendo know they have a left and right button on the D-pad? Like, are they aware? Has anyone asked them? Because outside of the story mode, they're just sitting there doing nothing. And they really could and should be doing something. Because right now, our only communication options are this way, which people seem to treat as a polite suggestion at most, BR, which outside of a BR bomb is there for pure vibes, and then there's ouch. I don't know why when people hear ouch a good 70% makes 0 attempt to move. Like, I promise you, this is not an oh must have been the wind situation. Something killed me, and if you don't make haste, it's gonna kill you too. And I get it, too many options could get chaotic and confusing, but 2 more on 2 buttons you're not using anyway? That's not overcomplicating things. That's unlocking potential, because after 3 games, there is no excuse for not having better communication options. And I reckon it's something Splatoon needs if it's going to take that next step up and really compete with the other shooter games out there. When it comes to Splatoon 4, I've got a few things I'd love to see when it comes to Splatfests, because as much as I do enjoy them, they've definitely got room to be better. Starting with the newest edition, Tricolour Turf War. I've made no secret of the fact I'm not the biggest fan of Tricolour Turf War, but if Nintendo are going to bring it back, do me a favour, spin off the 2 attacking sides versus 1 defending side. It's been 2 years, people still aren't getting it, or rather, they're choosing to actively ignore it. I think Nintendo vastly underestimated how kill-hungry 90% of its player base is. Tricolour is the definitive proof that people would rather bump up their own individual stats and lose the game than win but their KD isn't as good. So just bin it. If Tricolour does come back, just make it every team for themselves. In fact, you know what? I was going to put this separately, but Shifty Station. I want Shifty Stations to come back regardless, but if Tricolour also comes back, then the Tricolour maps should be Shifty Stations. Shifty Station stages were typically, I think, a little bigger, and now we know the Switch 2 is going to be way more powerful than the first one. The fact we've seen Mario Kart World is going to have 24-player races probably means we can just have 3 teams of 4 doing Tricolour and make it an all-out battle instead. While we're on the case, Splatfests Pro, that's gotta go. Did not mean to make that rhyme. Right now it's just Turf War. again, but without friends and no points if you lose. It doesn't feel pro at all. It just feels like regular Splatfests with a couple extra steps, none of which are really doing anything good. What I'd love to see in Splatoon 4 is for Splatfest Pro to make use of the ranked modes. I don't know about you, but to me that feels like it would make way more sense. Ranked is always pitched as the more challenging and competitive way to play the game, so tell me why they didn't make it the pro mode to begin with. If there's one thing in my mind that has to come back for Splatoon 4, it's the humble splash tag. And I know it's a small thing on the surface, but hear me out, because this little feature has made my whole Splatoon experience so much better. I love getting to customize it. Being a certified purple girly, 9 times out of 10 mine will have something purple on it, but the real stars of the shows are these babies, the badges. Hands down, one of the best features Splatoon has ever added across all 3 games. Do not fight me on this, you know I'm right. As someone who loves achievement and progression type rewards in games, the badge system was made for me. Most of us put a lot of hours into the game, and it's nice having something that we can display and showcase for that. However, while badges are a feature near and dear to my heart, they ain't perfect. Right now, the only badges you can properly track are for the weapons and salmon run boss kills. Everything else? Good luck. You got 2 options, guess or manually count, both of which are more work than I really want to be doing. I don't care where they put the system. I don't care if it's in the app or in the game itself. I didn't sign up to Splatoon to have to do maths or track data myself. I can do it. I've been doing it. But in Splatoon 4, I'm trying to be lazy, okay? I'd also love to see some new badges added. I feel like the most obvious one is sub kills or assists. Since we've already got badges for mains and specials, it only feels right that subs are next. I also think having stage friend badges could be kind of fun. You know, the same way we've got badges for salmon run when you hit EVP at a certain level, you could have some for wins on the multiplayer stages too. I mean, look, that's probably the only way you'll get me to play on Wahoo World, a map I dislike so much I've spent the last couple years actively avoiding it where possible. In terms of Splatoon 4 game modes, that's really easy. Just bring all of the current ones back. I personally like the changes that were made to Rainmaker and Clown Blitz in Splatoon 3, so I think we definitely keep that version of them. However, I would also love to see a new mode in Splatoon 4. What that would look like, I'm not really sure, so if you've got any ideas, please drop them in the comments because I'd love to hear them. But Splatoon 3 didn't add any new modes, which I thought was a little disappointing considering Splatoon 2 introduced Clown Blitz and also Salmon Run. And yeah, we did get challenges, but those are like modified versions of the already existing modes as opposed to brand new ones. Well, except for one, the monthly challenge, which is literally just the regular modes again for no real reason. There's not many things I would say we should just point blank get rid of in Splatoon 4, but that very specific monthly challenge? Yeah, they gotta go. They gotta go. They can't stay. On the other hand though, League? Yeah, that needs to come back. Honestly, I don't know why Nintendo scrapped League from Splatoon 3. We know from the Splatoon 3 Direct it was supposed to be added into the game at some point, but it looks like instead they just settled on making Anarchy Open this weird hybrid mode, which I think was a big mistake on their part. When Anarchy Open was introduced, it was pitched as ranked but without the stress or the pressure. No win streaks to protect, no power level to sweat out over. But for some reason, Nintendo decided to combine it with League instead of making them 2 separate modes, which kinda messed it up for everyone. So in Splatoon 4, take the 2 modes and split them back up. There is absolutely no reason for them to be attached at the hip like this. I think the original idea behind Open was great. In theory it would provide you with another mode that you can just chill in and not take too seriously, but that was more interesting than just your standard turf war, and I would love to see that version of Anarchy Open come back in Splatoon 4. Alright, let's talk about the lobby, because to be fair to Nintendo, I thought they nailed this one in Splatoon 3. Long gone are the days of just staring at a boring screen while you're waiting for a match. Now you queue up and you can actually do stuff. Warm up, test your aim, mess around with other players. I love it, it's great. So in Splatoon 4, let's just keep building on that. Keep that interactivity, keep the shared lobby space. However, that doesn't mean I don't have a few tweaks I'd love to see. First up, that little music machine in the lobby, I want to take that further. Right now, it only lets us change our music that's playing in the lobby, but I'd love if we could also custom pick our in-game music too. And I know there's been calls for letting us turn the music off in-game entirely, but I just straight up don't think they'll let us do that, so I'm not going to suggest it. Music is such an integral part of the game, like pretty much every character makes music. It's such a huge element story-wise and everything. I just don't see a world in which Nintendo let us turn off the music completely. And then there's the practice range. It's good, but it could still be better. In Splatoon 4, I want to see them add even more targets, make some move faster, and most importantly, because I think it's such a missed opportunity, do something with the damn copy machine. Right now it just stands there like it's waiting for a bus or something. In fact, I'm willing to bet most of you watching didn't even remember it's there. At most, all it does right now is shoot in a straight line directly in front of it at the range of a splatter shot. Maybe in Splatoon 4 have it shoot while moving side to side or something, have it replicate the actual distance and range of the weapon you're shooting at it with. Let me actually practice dodging and tracking, because I like the idea, but it kind of defeats the purpose if I can render it useless by just taking a couple steps to either side. Now let's talk about food and drink tickets, because if you're anything like me, your inventory is full of these things and you've probably forgotten to use them. Now I'm not saying get rid of them or anything, keep them, but let us do something with the extras. Maybe in Splatoon 4 we can have a system like the Sheldon licenses, where you can trade in, let's say 5 swim speed tickets for 1 swim speed jump, or turn unused tickets into a free shell out machine pull. Just give the tickets a little extra something, because right now they're gathering dust. And as for the shell out machine itself, definitely keep that for Splatoon 4. It's fun, it's unpredictable, it's giving us all a gambling addiction. No, but seriously, Splatoon 4 does need to bring it back. So, until Splatoon 4 drops, I'll be here avoiding Wahoo World, ignoring food tickets, and dreaming of better communication options. But what about you? What do you want to see in the next Splatoon game? If you enjoyed this video, check out the one on screen now and hit subscribe while you're at it. But most importantly, stay positive, stay smiling, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!